Just a few breaths. Sacred breath is breathing in through the nose, nice and easy. Breathing in the energy, breathing out any interference, anything that blocks the energy of love, the energy of the cosmos, just breathing it in and breathing out anything that would interfere with it. Just sort of emptying out of the interference. Yeah. Okay. Well, if you missed yesterday, just to give you just like a 30-second recap, we worked with five fierce truths that are part of every initiation tradition, which has mostly been lost in our culture. We have a lot of adults with terrific amount of power who haven't been initiated, haven't been transformed, or haven't made that leap from being a child to being an adult. And so yesterday was well, the title was about the fierce grace of initiation and upgrading to an adult operating system. Okay. Uh, that's really, if you're showing up here on a regular basis, that's really what we're practicing. I never think I'm looking at the squares now. I look at the Hollywood squares or the loosely follow squares, and I don't see you guys as audience. If you see yourself as audience, um, you're missing it. We're all participants here. We're practitioners, see, and so we're practicing together. You show up to practice together, and then hopefully you keep the practice going throughout the week. This kind of jolt gives you the energy and the focus to keep a contemplative practice going uh, throughout the week and to strengthen it. Another way would be, we were talking yesterday about these five truths that can initiate you and actually upgrade you into an adult operating system. And then if you really go for it, you can eventually upgrade yourself to the ultimate, which is a kind of contemplative operating system, to where you're operating on the contemplative network. Yeah, that's what we're working at. And we're all practicing this. Know it or not, I'm trying to help you know it. And that, so that that this is just, it's a jolt. Yesterday was a big jolt. We were there practicing. We sat 4 times and had a longer teaching. That's what the Saturdays are all about. Whatever you're up for, whatever you're up for. But so today, and that I think might even be posted already. It's probably called Five Fierce Truths. And so, yeah, you could go back to that. It's worth it. I'm just going to focus. I'll give you the five real quick, and I'm just going to focus on one. I resonated with one throughout today, and then wrote 3 poems based on this one. But the hard truths, the fierce truths, the fierce grace of these truths is first truth is life is hard. Second truth is you're not that important. Ooh, the ego goes, ooh, here. Third fierce truth is your life's not about you. Fourth fierce truth, which is devastating to a guy like me. You are not in control. Number 4, you're not in control. And then the fifth fierce truth is you're going to die. Now, these are fierce. This is what we talk about when we talk about the fierceness of grace. This is what we talk about when we talk about tough love. When they initiated the young girls and the young boys into the tribe, into making the transition from being a child to being an adult in the tribe, you don't do that easily. It is a kind of fierce encounter with reality. Okay, but it's a kind of tough love. I know you might have a hard time seeing the love in those 5. Life is hard. You're not that important. Your life isn't about you. Surprise. Uh, you're not in control. Bigger surprise. You're going to die. Well, you can say, well, that's no surprise. I know that, but we really don't believe it. We act like we don't believe it anyway. So I want to focus on the third one. It's right in the center, and it's what kept resonating with me throughout today. This idea that your life is not about you. Well, hell, then what is it about? Well, a couple of poems for you, and then we'll always try to make the connection to the practice. This one's just called Leap. It's what got me looking for that the picture of the trapeze, the circus. Leap. Yes. Let it be. Let it be done unto me. Let it be done unto me according to thy will. Leaping into living a real contemplative life is one quantum leap after another. Let it be. Let it be done to me according to thy will. Let it be done unto me according to thy will. That was Mary's first prayer and Jesus's last. Let it be done unto me according to thy will. That was Mary's first prayer and Jesus's last. Leap into living a contemplative life. Leap into joining the flying Walendas. Leap, net or no debt. All you have to say is yes. Yes. Let it be, let it be done unto me. Let it be done unto me according to thy will. That was Mary's first prayer and Jesus's last. Leaping into a contemplative life. Leap into joining the flying Walendas. Leap, net or no net. All you have to say is yes. All right, well, let's open that one up a little bit. We also had some great quotes by three great women yesterday. They're too great not to share with you again. First one is from Teresa of Avila, who was a great mystic in Spain, Avila in Spain, and she said, all concepts of God are like a jar we break. All concepts of God are like a jar we break. And the we there means mystics, means contemplatives. You know, concepts don't make it. Rumi said one time, he said, concepts are like a patch on your clothes. They wear out. I was with David Steindl-Rast one time at a retreat, and he said, you know, I've worn out every word for God except for one. And I said, well, what was that? And he said, surprise. And I think that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So, you know, our job is to break these concepts. The Jewish religion has this idea that the universe was a crystal goblet, a huge crystal kind of vase, and then it was broken and it shattered all of its, that's sort of the Jewish idea of the Big Bang. And it shattered all of its parts all through the universe. And every one of us is one of those parts, you see. And then, so the whole idea of tikkun, of healing in the Jewish thing, is you bring these parts together to make the vase, to make the beauty. Yeah. But it's a shattering of the container, you see. Mira, I actually didn't add, this will be new for you guys for hear from yesterday. Mira, who is a Hindu poet, a great woman Hindu poet, she said, God is a love so strong, it broke the cage. God is a love so strong, it broke the cage. Again, this image of a container. And so, the realm you go into as a contemplative and certainly as a mystic, the realm you live in is a realm devoid of containers, devoid of nice, neat little packages of meaning. No, they're sort of by nature, mystics are by nature iconoclasts. I mean, it's to break the container. Okay. There's so many containers we're living inside of in this country right now. I mean, I don't need to enumerate them. Racism, sexism, these are all containers, you know, they need to be shattered, you know. Get yourself a hammer. That's what a practice is. Mirabai Starr, who's a modern contemplative who she writes great books. She's a true contemplative. She lives in New Mexico. She said, once you know the God of love, you'll fire all the other gods. Once you know the God of love, once you know the God of love, like know in the biblical sense, you've been intimate. Once you know the God of love, you'll fire all the other gods. That's so these are all like, it's about breaking out of this conceptual hell. Blake said, we live with mind forged manacles. Rumi says, why do you stay in prison when the door's so wide open? This is a call here. And this is what it means to upgrade your operating system to a contemplative operating system. Contemplative operating system doesn't see this or that, or it doesn't see division. That's what this thing over my shoulder, which you can't quite see right now, but it's not two. It's not that everything goes into kind of vanilla pudding. There's no differences. There's just no separation. And these containers of thought separate us from reality, you see. And so we gotta, in a way, contemplative operating system learns how to do without them. Yeah. So this idea, where I'm channeling the famous part of the Gospels in Luke when, Mary's just doing whatever she does as a 13-year-old, 12 or 13-year-old Jewish girl, and all of a sudden some extraterrestrial comes in the window and says, hey, look, this is the plan. You're going to give birth to the God of the universe. And she sort of comes back with it. He said, well, I haven't known any men. And he said, no problem. The spirit will do it all. And fantastically, she says, okay. And the Latin was fiat, which is, let it be done unto me according to your will. I don't know what's going on, but all right. Okay. I haven't seen any extraterrestrials lately, but all right. So this idea. And so we got to really break this container of let it be done unto me according to thy will. That's the whole thing about God's will needs to be like shattered a little bit, needs to be shattered a lot, because it's otherwise you got two there. You got somebody, giving me marching orders here, and that somebody, might not like it if I don't do it so well. So you get all into that kind of hell too. So we got to break open this idea of God's will, and the whole concept of let it be done unto me. Say, let it be. That whole thing. So this poem came out of it's called Let It Be. I'm trying to, in a way, go deeper than the idea of some old man telling me what to do. I knew one guy, he was an Irishman. He said, don't tell me what to do. Irishmen never, that's why the Irish, they have a hard time with that God. Thank goodness, because you should have a hard time with that concept of God. The old guy who's telling you what to do. He's mansplaining your whole life to you all the time. No, we have to have a freer idea of the will of God. Well, this is called let it be. A contemplative life is a constant leap of faith. It's a daily opening of the heart to your soul's deepest longing. The contemplative life is a constant leap of faith. It's a daily opening of the heart to your soul's deepest longing. When you say yes to the way your soul longs to love the world, when you say yes to the way your soul longs to love the world, you're saying yes to God's will. Now, contemplative life is a constant leap of faith. That's the guy there flying through the air, waiting for the trapeze, Okay, it's like that. It's not a certainty. Merton said the opposite of doubt. The opposite of faith is not doubt, it's certainty. Real faith means, you have this, you have to go into, a sense, the uncertainty of it all. It's a daily opening of the heart to your soul's deepest longing. This is the key to getting tuned into what's known as God's will. You have to tune in daily, opening the heart, tune in to your heart's deepest longing. There's a reason Jesus told Apostle Thomas, he said, Thomas just wanted to know, all right, tell us what to do. How do we, save us, whatever. And he said, no, Thomas, he said, if you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will be your salvation. So, what we call God's will, which became, a kind of concept. Jesus was saying, no, everybody, you have it in the deepest part of the cave of the heart is what you long to do in this world, is how you long to love the world. You got to bring that forth. And that takes practice. That takes learning how to tune in, first of all, to go from the surface of life where everybody's telling you what it means to be relevant. Our culture is telling you what it means to be important. Who's on TV? Rich people, beautiful people, successful people, right? That's the gospel of our culture. It's why you could spend all day looking at Bezos's rocket. Sort of obscene, actually, if you think about it. But that's, they covered Bezos's rocket for all day, as if, we need to be looking at that. It's like we're on the playground here or something. No. What Buddha was saying, Buddha was an iconoclast, grew up in the whole Hindu realm with the Brahmins, who were, enforcing the law, and he was this new guy. So there was something else there. He was breaking the container. It wasn't breaking the essence of Hinduism. No, he was breaking the container that they were trying to put it into. You see, Jesus comes along 500 years later, doing the same thing. He had an out of the box, an out of the container view of the Holy One, of the really real, and they wanted to put him back in the box. He's a guy who wouldn't get back into the container, you see. So when you say yes to the way your soul longs to love the world, and each of us has that in them, whether we're in touch with it or not, whether we've even ever been told that it actually was in us, it is. And I'm telling you that. Buddha told you that. It's the Buddha nature. Jesus told you that. That's the Christ in you. The way you're meant to love the world, the way you long to love the world. And when you get in touch with that, you're saying yes to the will of God. That's just another way. Now, don't expect some voice to tell you. No, you have to listen to something that's not a human voice. We're listening to human voices all the time. The talking heads. Turn them off. And that's why we have what we're going into is a built-in listening space here after the meditation period where we're thinking, we're letting words lead us to some interesting places. Then we go into silence to continue to listen to the teaching, but also more than that, to actually open your heart and let it be done unto you. Greg Boyle, who's the Jesuit priest who started Homeboy Industries in the barrio of LA, and it's just he's been bringing gangbangers, Latino gangbangers, all kinds of gangbangers back into life. And he's a guy I really respect. He's a Jesuit who really understands the gospel. And he said one time, he said, God is monosyllabic. God is monosyllabic. Love. I'm afraid that's it. God is monosyllabic. Love. I'm afraid that's it. People are looking for more. They're looking for like a real more detailed game plan. Jesus didn't really have it. He just kept putting that out there. I mean, love. So to find out your way to love the world and to do it. Yeah, but this is the third poem, and then we'll actually jump into it. The third poem just called The Difference. What's the difference between really living and merely existing? That's a good question. What's the difference between really living, to have that feeling in your bones that, yeah, this is living. What's the difference between really living and merely existing? As if getting to 100 was any kind of goal. I'm not all that interested in it, based on some things at 72. But it's not. It's a kind of goal that you get from the culture, and it's something, but it's not that good. What's the difference between really living and merely existing? It's a difference between saying yes and or saying yes, but. It's all in it's in those two responses to this universe, this absolute reality that's saying, okay, it's love here, what are you going to do with it? How are you going to love the world? And if you find out and then do it, okay? And if you say yes, then you're really living. But if you say yes, but who hasn't said that? We know what we need to do, and we say yes, but there's a difference right there. Yeah, I think anyway. Okay. So, let's take a few breaths to segue us into our meditation zone, into our contemplation zone here. And will give us a chance to turn off the recording.